position because a mile-and-a-half style track has been the bane of their existence this year. They just can't get a hold of the balance. So they're hoping that with 600 miles to dial it in, they'll finish the race up front where they started. Regan Smith.
Well, Jamie, the always aggressive Ross Chastain has been so good since coming to Trackhouse Racing, but in 5 Coke 600 starts, he does not have a top 10 yet, and a best run of 15th last year. But in that run, he led 153 laps, was in position, and looked like he could have scored the win. Keep an eye on him today as the team looks to get back the one that got away from him last year. Josh?
Well, listen, Regan, things are trending in the right direction for the 23 team of Bubba Wallace. 2 straight top 5 finishes, 3 in a row if you count the All-Star race, and this team is feeling confident right now. Now, they've never finished better than 14th in the Coke 600, but crew chief Booty Barker says they feel good about their mile-and-a-half program. They feel good about what they did here last year, despite not having the finish they wanted. Momentum is a real thing right now for this 23 team, Larry Mack.
Well, Josh, Tony Stewart said it. Don't beat yourself. You can't win this thing in the first 200 or 300 laps, but you can flat lose it. So let's take a look at our Verizon race strategy. 4 stages, 100 laps apiece. Our plan is to just split those in half. 4 tires every stop, but don't shy away from 2 right sides, especially for a short run. Make adjustments. You need to keep up with the track, but don't over-adjust the race car. 60 to 65 laps on fuel. You get to that point, you want to make sure you get in there and get that thing full of fuel, Mike.
Thanks, Larry Mack. Here they come. 37 of NASCAR's best. William Byron up front. 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson. Shotgun on the field. Green flag. The Coca-Cola 600's underway. First time ever that this race has started without the drivers having turned a single lap on the track all weekend.
It's a great point, Mike. You heard William Byron talk about the nerves of leading this pack to green into that turn 1 and 2, moved up in front of that outside line. It was a good block in front of Harvick. Byron in an early lead. Liking what he feels in that car, Tony.
And seeing a lot of confidence in these drivers in literally 1 lap. Martin Truex Jr. both ends of the racetrack all the way up to the wall, went 3 wide, gained a couple spots. 3 and 4 didn't quite make the pass, but they've got confidence to use the whole racetrack this early.
Kyle Busch in green moving up on the inside. He's to 5th place. They're double wide with Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski just in front of him.
See all it takes. Truex moves to the outside and Larson moved up, took that line away. You'll see that a lot. Everybody's trying. I think if you're going to pass, you're going to try to get to their right rear, Tony. Seems like if you can get to the right rear off of 4, that's a catbird seat. Getting into 1, we see a lot of guys get under people, getting into 1 and get in trouble. Try to do a slide job. We've seen it last year. We've seen it in Xfinity already.
Well, Blaney and Kyle Busch just did that. They gained position, but those cars on the outside, like Hamlin, get a better launch off turn 2, and Hamlin takes the spot back, 3rd place.
And that's the thing, and we're going to see it all day. These guys get such a big run. They carry so much momentum. It's not that they get a bunch of drive, but they're able to get in the gas, get wide open early, and carry that momentum and get a long run down the straightaways.
Kyle Larson up 4 spots from where he started, from 12th to 8th.
All 3 of those cars, Christopher Bell, Larson, and Truex, all very fast, jockeying for position here early.
William Byron just became the first driver to lead 600 laps during this season.
It's Truex and Larson. That battle will not go away. Truex tried him on the outside, tried him on the bottom. Now he's squirting through the middle there. Great battle right here. These are 2 strong contenders for the win at this race. You see the block. Truex thought better of it, come up. He had his teammate Bell coming down. That is textbook mile-and-a-half, good old Charlotte Motor Speedway racing.
Still quarter on the 20, he's 2 back to the 17, even, clear out by 2.
Larson up 4 spots, while Truex is up 9 from the start of the race. Remember, no practice, no qualifying. The performance metrics set the lineup. That includes point standings, last race finish, and fastest lap of the last race, which was Kansas.
See, Denny finally got around Harvick, got him up, and he also, who's he got in tow? Kyle Busch right there in the 8 car coming with him. 8 and 11 on the move.
Christopher Bell, and look at Tyler Reddick. He has really hung that bottom and done it to great advantage. He's fast through the corner and he's fast off the corner.
The car you don't see in that equation is the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. He did get by Kyle Larson, was able to get a gap on him now.
Nine green flag laps in the books. William Byron has led them all.
Grab an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You're watching the Coca-Cola 600 on Fox.
Coca-Cola. 13, now 14 laps complete. New leader Denny Hamlin. Here's the pass for the lead from our Goodyear aerial coverage. Goodyear powering the race from green to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear more driven.
That was only a matter of time. You saw the runs. He run him down in pretty quick time there, Tony. Got on him, tried him on the bottom, lost his nose a couple times, finally got to his outside with a big run off of 4. The rest is history. I think all these Hendrick cars are struggling a little bit. There's a battle for second. Kyle Busch trying to get around William Byron. 5 and the 9 both struggling a little bit early with the Hendrick camp. That's something that always kind of comes in a little bit with this 600-mile race. We talk about that, the transition. If you're good at the beginning, you might not be good at the end. You got anything for us, Regan?
Well, keep an eye on the 45 car right now. Tyler Reddick, so far up 7 spots to 8th place since the start of the race. Always very good here. As a matter of fact, 3 top 10s in his only 3 Coke 600 starts. The report from the driver right now, just a little bit tight in 1 and 2, but happy.
Well, we've got a genuine 3-groove racetrack to work with here. It doesn't seem like there's a preferred groove in the early going. We've seen a lot of 3 wide.
No, I think you're literally just searching for what makes your car feel the best right now. Because their first run of the day, you know, everybody's going to make updates and make changes. But, you know, that's the good thing about this racetrack right now is you have the ability to move down. If your car is tight, you can move down. If you're loose, you can move up. You can do a lot of things to try to find a spot that's going to help you out right now.
Chase Briscoe with work to do, Jamie. He's dropped 14 spots.
That's right. And Tony, sorry to say, but your boys aren't handling too well right now. I'm watching the 4 of Kevin Harvick. He slipped from 2nd back to 17th. And Chase Briscoe, who we were just riding on board with, has slipped back 14 positions. Chase Briscoe just saying, I am wrecking loose right now. I can hardly hang on.
Extremely hard to get around this racetrack loose. Can't get into either end, can't keep the throttle down, can't keep the momentum up. And then, oh, by the way, now they're stacked up behind you on your rear bumper, which makes that problem even worse.
Eric Jones
begging for a caution.
Jones making the pass on Harvick. That's for 18th place. Larry Mack, you had to go off your notebook and your simulation to set the car up for today with no practice, no qualifying. How big a difference is it between a hit and a miss here?
Well, these first 35 laps, Mike, are going to be so important between now and that competition caution because you've got to give your crew chief feedback on what this car is doing. But, Mike, we loaded the car on Friday thinking we were going to come out here, start the race in the sunlight, go to twilight, end at night, and this is the first laps we've even turned, so it was a little bit of a crapshoot because when you unloaded, you kind of had what you had.
Well, that's the hard thing as you're watching him just freight train Kevin Harvick here in your screen. I mean, he's lost 20 spots. 20 spots in 20 laps. That's a spot a lap. That's a tough deal. But like I said, when you're loose, they stack up behind you. You can't get out of their way. They can't find a groove, kind of a hole to hide. That's what you're looking for.
I think the most important thing at this stage of the race, though, this early, is you just got to be patient. You got to ride this out to the end of the stint, give your crew a chance, and give that crew chief an opportunity to make it better. It's a long day still.
Right now, everybody wishes they were Martin Truex on one of these Coke 600s. He led 392 of the 400 laps. He's currently in 4th, up 14 positions from where he started. And his gain on the leader, more than a second in the last 7 laps.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it, you know, previewing this weekend. It's been a Hendrick and now a Gibbs battle, a Toyota battle. Saw it at Kansas, Darlington the same way. This 19 and 11, they mean business.
All right, what's wrong with Chase Elliott? He's back in 12th spot after starting in the top half dozen.
Yeah, I think the balance is really not bad. I just had a bad start to it there. Balance pretty good, 3 and 4. Got to figure out what to do personally. Yeah, 10 4, still good here.
Pretty good balance in 3 and 4, not so much in 1 and 2.
Well, he needs 3/10 right now, so he may think it feels okay, but the stopwatch is showing otherwise.
Josh?
Yeah, we see a lot of drivers struggling out there. That's the case for Bubba Wallace. Started strong, started with a confident car, but he came over the radio a little while ago and said, guys, I'm just hanging on right now.
Is that setting up for the long run, Tony, for his transitions? You need it to be a little bit freer, you think?
Well, I think they, like you mentioned, I mean, I think they all thought it was going to be night conditions that we were going to be racing under, and that's what they set up for. It's hard to balance it for both when it's the heat of the day at the beginning of the race versus the end. This track changes so drastically with heat.
I would think if you're loose now, you're going to be even looser later.
Well, right now they've got to hang on for just 10 more laps and stay on the lead lap to get to the competition caution that NASCAR will throw for teams to make pit stops and check tire wear. We'll be back for that. Working lap 25 with Denny Hamlin in front of William Byron by half a second. Denny Hamlin, the leader. Here's an update on the Coca-Cola Racing family. With Chase Elliott 12th, Daniel Suarez 14th, just ahead of Joey Logano and Austin Dillon. 5 laps to the competition caution because of no practice, no qualifying, and Christopher Bell going for second on Ryan Blaney.
This Bell is fast, really fast, Tony. All them Gibbs cars. Telling you, good weekend to be in a Gibbs car. Toyotas are extremely fast. I'm impressed with Blaney, though, hanging strong right there in that Ford Mustang.
Yeah, we saw Denny and Martin Truex get up to the point pretty quick there, and we saw Bell come into the picture. Christopher's been very methodical about how he's worked his way up.
Alex Bowman almost had Ryan Preece in his door right there.
Well, let me tell you, the sun's come out in 3 and 4. You're starting to see Cindric completely sideways there. These guys have got their hands full, begging for this caution. Just a couple more laps, boys. Hang on to them.
There's still 3 wide back there. I mean, we have 3 good racing crews on this racetrack. You ride with Bowman, the ally cam, and he gives Preece just a little bump, having not appreciated what happened the lap before.
Man. Here the next one comes. Truex. We talked about him earlier. Gibbs boy is going to be hard to handle.
2 laps to the competition yellow. Still great battles around the racetrack. And some drivers just hanging on as Christopher Bell makes his presence known up front. He went from 6th to 1st in just 10 laps.
Really seeing those cars slip inside and around, especially down there in 3 and 4 where that sun's popped out.
Now this first stage is 100 laps. There are no points at stake at this competition caution. Just a chance for everybody to take a pause, get new tires, and make adjustments. As the field passes through, completing lap 35, they will wave the yellow, and pit road is going to be especially busy with 33 cars on the lead lap.
That's a great point, Mike. Very, very tight, very important. You need some track position. We can see it's hard to get out. Pump them arms up. Get these tires on fast, especially that 9 car. We've heard Chase Elliott having trouble. A lot of others.
And there's the caution. First one of the day, which NASCAR told the drivers in the meeting would come at lap 35.
It's Harvick. Poor Harvick. Second. Lost 28 spots, folks. Running 30th. He will shaking his head. Oh, Rodney Childers, there might be something up his sleeve. If anybody can get it done, he can.
Only 4 drivers have gone a lap down. BJ McLeod, Chase Briscoe, Ty Dillon, and Todd Gilliland, who's in the 51 this week for Rick Ware Racing. And BJ McLeod will get the free pass and be back on the lead lap when we restart.
Every one of these drivers were hanging on, and we're so excited to hear their spotters call the caution.
But now, did you expect we'd have a 3-lane racetrack all the way around to start?
Not this early.
No.
For sure. I thought it would take a little bit of time to get that top worked in, but we saw it in the Xfinity race earlier today where guys were able to immediately get up there, which gave us hope that we would have this today.
The thing that impresses me the most is, yes, the racetrack was ready, right? The grip level was there, but so were they. You know, the confidence in their cars. The cars were ready for the most part. I mean, we've covered the ones that are having trouble here and struggling, Stewart-Haas cars in particular, but at the end of the day, these cars with no practice at all, never being on that racetrack, the sim got them the grip they needed to go out there and be 3 wide already. Pretty impressive.
Here they come off turn 4. Pit road is open.
Like, it's been a good start to the race for the 12 car. Ryan Blaney up 6 spots from where he started in 8th, second place right now. 1 and 2 a little bit too tight for him, and he's loose over the bumps in turns 3 and 4. And the 20 of Christopher Bell, he's pretty good right now with laps on tires. Just wants a small change to free it up. Jamie?
First of many pit stops today for these teams. The 11 and Denny Hamlin got bouncy, said he kept getting looser. Once an adjustment in 4 tires. William Byron in the 24, air pressure adjustment. Once a little maneuverability, but not much. He's pretty good.
There's your race off pit road, sponsored by Ram. William Byron with pit stall number 1.
Look at the difference
Back to the top.
+4.
Our fallen servicemen and women, and we tell many of their stories. Their names are spelled out on the windshield strips on every one of these cars. And this year, the drivers wanted to mention the fallen servicemen and women who are riding along with them today.
Senior Chief Petty Officer Scott Cooper Dayton.
Specialist Wilford Flores Jr.
Staff Sergeant Michael H. Simpson.
Hospital Man James Oxley.
Staff Sergeant Kevin Christopher Kimmerly.
Major Stephen Cajun Del Bano.
Lance Corporal Daniel McVicker.
Gunnery Sergeant Joseph Manusa.
Staff Sergeant James D. Bullard.
We race to remember. And we'll have further remembrances throughout today's telecast. Updating pit stops, Joey Logano had to back up to get into his pit stall. He was 15th. Logano will restart 28th. And the hood was up on Ty Dillon's car and on Eric Almirola's car, and the report was they were changing everything. Josh.
Yeah, you talked about Joey Logano there, had to back up in the pit box there because the left front was not tight. So a little issue. We know how important these pit stops are, so already in the hole for Joey Logano with the 22 team.
Yeah, costly. We've covered it. We've seen it time and time again on these races. You know, the window of opportunity in this Cup Series is so tight. The competition is so strong. Any little mistake, whether it be minute or not, costs you in a big way. 22 cars starting at the back.
See, the lights are out on the Toyota Camry TRD pace car. Here's the view back from the pace car. Kip Childress, second generation NASCAR official at the wheel.
Huge benefit, that #1 stall. William Byron back to the point. Very, very beneficial. Will be all day long.
And here they come to the Geico restart zone. A 9.7 second pit stop for William Byron. got him back to the lead. Let's see if he can keep it.
Back to the top.
Reddick
8, looking for the
slipped up the
crossover
racetrack
left.
on the bottom. Baby blue car at 45. How about Blaney? Got under him. He's going to try to slide up here. I think he takes it, Tony.
He gets it for now, for sure. I mean, he was strong in the first segment there before he had the competition caution. He didn't show anything spectacular, but he's had good speed, good pace, and he's kept good track position.
I'm impressed with this. Brad Keselowski just keeps getting stronger and stronger. Yes, he started third, but very strong in this 6 car so far. RFK, Buescher, his teammates, only a couple behind him as well.
Had a great feature in yesterday's pre-race on Brad and all he does to support the nation's military, not just this weekend, but all year long.
His day is coming. You mark my words. That car will be in victory lane this year, I think. Could be tonight.
Christopher Bell to the bottom, got a little bit of the apron right there, so he didn't get the best launch off turn number 2. Keselowski pulls away a bit, but I think we're going to see Bell back to the lead perhaps before this stage is over.
They're going to have to go through this guy. This Martin Truex Jr., you see that run he got off a 2 on the outside. This car is very maneuverable. He can run the outside. He can run the bottom, go where they're not. So important on these fast racetracks.
Xfinity fastest lap of the race, a number of those occurring on the lap we just completed. Chase Elliott, Almirola, Cindric, and a couple of those on that list were not good in the first phase of this race. They're tuned up now.
Woo, that was so close. Christopher Bell thread the needle between Hamlin and Ty Dillon on that outside lapper. Took advantage though, used him as a pick, saw that opportunity coming. I like that move. Watch this. See, everybody else went to the bottom to go around Ty Dillon the lapper. He got that outside run. You see the flames come out of Denny Hamlin on the bottom. Put him in a pretty vulnerable spot.
Yeah, he did.
He did do that to a teammate, but it worked.
That was a big left turn right in the middle of the corner like that.
Now Martin Truex, who lost 3 spots on pit road, has gained 2 of those back since we went back to green. There's the 19. They get another one right here as he rockets around Reddick.
He is so good on that top, especially off of turn 2. He knows how to get that throttle down to where he can stay committed to it and build that momentum off the top.
I like what you said there at the end, though. He can stay with it. It's one thing to pick up the gas early in the corner and get that momentum started, but if you can't stay with it off the corner and you have to lift at the wall, all your momentum's lost down the straightaway.
Christopher Bell to third and headed for the front.
957, clear.
Denny Hamlin carrying the Coca-Cola can in 5th behind Keselowski. Drops low.
So good behind him. 5 back to the 19.
Here's Regan on our leader.
Well, Mike, it's been a strong restart for Ryan Blaney so far, but keep an eye on that car as this run goes on. On the last pit stop, they were not able to get the adjustment into the car that they wanted to help him out. He ended the last run 2 free. We'll have to see if that materializes that way again here.
Man, I don't know if I... You know what, boys? I changed my mind. This thing's pretty fast. Maybe we should leave her alone.
Blaney, Byron, and Bell. 1 second separates the top 3. And that gap is closing up. Joe Gibbs Racing has had a lot of success in stock car racing's longest events. 5 wins with 5 different drivers. And one of their drivers, rookie Ty Gibbs, doing the double today, running the Alsco 300 Xfinity Series race and the 600 milers, as if 600 miles wasn't enough in one day.
Well, it's almost like a triple if you think about it. I mean, you start in the Xfinity car, jump out of that into the Cup car, and then he's going to have to jump back in the Xfinity car to finish that race. So it's almost like 3 different stints now.
Earning that money today. Hamlin's definitely a little bit faster than Keselowski here, but just cannot seem to get it done. Keselowski's utilizing, that outside line, forcing Hamlin down there on the bottom where he doesn't want to be, taking that line away. Makes it difficult for Denny to make that pass. Watch, he'll get into the corner deep down in here in 3. He can get in harder than he can, but he can't get off the corner like Tony was talking about earlier. See that? Charges the corner very hard. Just can't quite put the throttle down to complete it on exit.
And they can do that. If you're running the bottom like that, it opens the entry up so much that you can get down in there. If you have an open entry where you can get to the outside wall before you turn down in. When Brad runs the top in turn 3, it gets very, very tight on the entry. So up by the wall, he has to lift a lot more, get the car load down before he can get back in the gas.
So Jamie Little, what were the teams seeing for tire wear at the competition caution?
Well, so far the tire wear looks good right now, Mike, but you were riding on board with last year's winner, Denny Hamlin. He won with 13 different pit stops last year. So this year, 14 sets of sticker tires. And as always, what Goodyear does, the honor and remember sidewall. And for this year, they have a construction update. And the crew chief I talked to were quite concerned about hitting the balance right with this new construction update, but not having any practice time. So some obviously have hit it so far and others have not.
Thanks, Jamie. 53 laps complete. We're halfway through stage 1 in the only 4-stage race on the NASCAR schedule. Brian Blaney's Ford leading William Byron's Chevrolet and Christopher Bell's Toyota. And William Byron by 1.4. It has become a Fox Sports tradition during the Coca-Cola 600 to honor and remember the servicemen and women who have passed in the service of our country in the last year. Those names will scroll across the bottom of our screen several times during this afternoon's telecast. Laps to go in stage 1. Things beginning to string out just a bit, but for the battle for the lead and this fight for 4th place.
It's been going on for 20 laps. Keselowski and Hamlin. Keselowski giving Hamlin fits.
And for the lead, Bell has caught Blaney. No surprise there.
And I've been watching Christopher Bell. You watch what he did right there. He goes in on the top, and it looks like he just kind of slows down a little bit extra, but it gives the front end time to cut, start down the hill, and he can get in the gas very, very early, and you see the drive it gave him off.
The other thing I see is just like Regan told us about, that 12 car started to wiggle that tail on the outside of him, getting loose.
They did not get a chance to make the chassis adjustment they wanted, so new tires have done their job, and now Blaney's going to have to hang on to it until he can get some more. Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch. This is for 6th place. Let's go back to 15th place, Daniel Suarez, and an update from Josh.
Yeah, and I talked to Daniel Suarez before the start of this race, and he called this a place he could win. Very confident. And early on in the race, they moved their way up from 24th all the way to 12th. Well, he got super loose early in the race after that last stop, made some adjustments, felt better for 3 to 4 laps, and then he came on the radio and said, hey, the car is way worse than it was before, about 4 spots too free. He's really hanging on right now, guys.
Alex Bowman had a compression fracture of the T3 vertebrae from a sprint car accident, and earlier this week did some test session, which is allowed when a driver is coming back from illness or injury. And during that, the most critical part of that session was the pit stop. Bowman wanted to make sure when they dropped the jack that he did not feel any pain, because that's the type of injury he had. He said he was fine, good to go. He's in the race today.
Yeah, and it sounds like such a small thing, but it is such a big deal. See him in the sprint car crash here. Car beside him gets into the nose of him. He's on the car on the left. When it lands hard on the wheels, pushes him down in the seat.
Yeah, right there. Bam, right there. He actually sneezed in an interview that we did yesterday, and he's like, oh, That's the worst thing that could happen. I guarantee you. Right now, he is dead set on hitting those marks. Tony, you've been there. You've literally been there with your back broke. How about this guy? Talking about been there. He has been there and done that on this racetrack and everything in between. Pretty phenomenal. This 84 car, Jimmy Johnson, 707-time, holding a pretty wheel out there, right behind another two-time champion, Joey Logano.
Remember, Logano had to back up to get into his pit and restarted deep in the field. Johnson, because of the performance metric, he had not been racing this season, so he started the race in last position. So slowly but steadily, those two veteran champions are working their way toward the front. And
working their way, they just got out of that gaggle of cars. They were in a hornet's nest back there, 3 wide all over the place. They got cleared out and making some pretty good lap times here. Business is picking up, man. I'm telling you, boys, I am impressed with this Keselowski. Run these front 2 cars down. Got a pretty good hot rod. Denny, you know, he finally wore Denny out. Denny was looking to his inside, could not make the pass.
And here's Chase Elliott on the rebound. He dropped a lot of spots in the first run, but here he is in 14th place with Daniel Suarez.
Tony, Mike has alluded to it several times, but I love the condition of this racetrack. They are right up against the wall on the outside, can, you know, utilize the bottom, both ends of the racetrack, and then obviously run in the middle, wherever they're not.
And this track used to be very bottom dominant. You didn't see very many guys very often move around. If they did, it seemed like it always started in 3 and 4 first before it did in 1 and 2. But it seems like with this new car, it likes this racetrack. And this track has a lot of character. It hasn't been repaved. It has bumps. It has swells in it, dips in it. And that's the thing that makes this track have the character and gives these guys the options that they have.
Here's this big D-shaped front straightaway. As you watch from the Monster Cam, on board Ty Gibbs doing double duty today, running the Xfinity race and the 600-mile Cup race. 71 laps complete, 29 to go to the end of stage 1 as Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski battle for fourth. Regan.
Mike, we talked about the 12 car, Ryan Blaney not getting that adjustment that they wanted, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do right now. Started the run real good, but he told the team it got looser this run than it did the previous run. In the 20 of Christopher Bell wants to be just a little bit tighter mid-corner, and they told him to keep an eye on the 10 car as he comes out of the pit and the 10 comes into his. Jamie?
Keselowski in the 6 said he has excellent rotation. That's where he's beating the others, but that he's getting beat on rear stability, a wedge adjustment, and 4 tires. Meanwhile, the 24 still tight. They're going to make a bigger adjustment there.
There it is. Off pit road, sponsored by Ram and William Byron and Rudy Fugle and crew. They are on it. They picked him up another 2 spots. And Byron goes back to the lead. Jimmy Johnson made it back around to the pits to make repairs after this.
You see him get loose there in turn 2, and once it started, it never stopped. Couldn't catch it.
From Joey Logano's view.
Low down the back.
7-time champion Jimmy Johnson goes around at Charlotte. Interference on the 16 AJ Allmendinger. So here they come to the Geico restart zone. It'll be 21 laps to go to finish stage 1.
Byron picking that outside this time. Had a huge push by Christopher Bell, but it may not work. Better get up. There it is. It did work. I'll calm down now, Tony.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the last time we're going to see Christopher Bell running the top like that and making time.
The deal was him picking that outside. It worked. He used the bottom the first 2 attempts. Thought better of it this time.
34 cars on the lead lap. BJ McLeod got the free pass again. Jimmy Johnson, after making repairs, is 1 lap down. Gilliland -3, Ty Dillon -4. Everybody else on the lead lap as Blaney and Bell go at it once again for second. right with them this time. Then Martin Truex in 5th. Larson, Hamlin, and Busch.
Yeah, don't look now. Here comes that 5 car.
Big block right there, moved up right behind. I think it was Hamlin behind him. That was really close. You saw Hamlin getting the back of him, move that rear of his car all around.
Ty Gibbs on the outside of Keselowski. This is for 10th.
He's been slowly but surely moving up there to join his Gibbs crowd. His teammates Bell and Denny Hamlin have both been strong. Martin Truex Jr. as well. Doesn't surprise me. You have teammates running good. Gives you a notebook to look over. Hey, what kind of air pressure they got? Where's their wedge at? Where's their balance?
Bowman really sent it into turn 3, was even with Gibbs, but look how he paid the price on corner exit.
Sure did, and look what the difference is. Here comes Chase Elliott into the picture. It's like we're talking about the Gibbs conversation. You mentioned it, Tony. The 5 car's coming. Now look over. Here comes the 9 as well.
The 9, the 48. I mean, you can tell the cars in each organization, their groupings, they're getting together now.
That's right. Well, they finally get on the same page. If one started with this air pressure and the other one started with another, we can hone in on where we need to be. That's what
They were 3 wide there, and Bowman almost got a boot from Chris Buescher in the 17. That's the best battle on the racetrack there from 12th on back.
I'm going to give a shout out to that 43 car. Let's watch this again. Came with a side drop really tight with Eric Jones in the 43 car. Bowman goes up, tries to make a block right in the lap of Chris Buescher. Very, very tough, close.
Well, I don't think he wanted to be the meat in the sandwich when they got to the corner. I think that was why he made an abrupt move.
You have to make them blocks. You block because it's effective, but it's very dangerous. Man, they wouldn't have blocked you back in the day, Tony. That wouldn't have worked.
We normally gave him the eject button when they did that.
There ain't no we. That was you.
That was a lot of us. That was Dale Sr., Rusty Wallace. There were a lot of guys that taught me that.
Kevin Harvick inside Ross Chastain, and Harv moves up to 17. Looking for more.
That's a good rebound for Harvick. Rodney Childress got him the setup that he needed, the balance fixed on that race card.
Wow. Look at the difference between the cars that can lead the top versus the guys on the bottom.
Well, Bowman slipped up in front of Harvick, and then here comes that outside Chastain and Cindric.
And that all starts back in turn 2. It seems the exit of turn 2 is where the biggest speed disparity is at this racetrack. Why is that?
I think it's really smooth in turn 2, and it seems like once you get in, there's a big bump in turn 1. It upsets the car. Once it gets loaded in the car or in the center of the corner, if you can get in the gas, and the key is staying committed to it. If you can do that, you will carry and make that back straightaway way longer.
It'll be 6 laps to go in stage 1. Toyota Racing invites you to join the powerful women of Toyota and be part of something greater. Toyota, let's go places.
Sephora's Color IQ tool matches your unique shade to the right beauty products. Because every shade deserves to shine. Discover your Color IQ shade match, only at Sephora.
Lee sure is smiling.
Viagra is virtually the same price as the generics. What's not to smile about?
What's his secret?
It's not a secret. I just told you.
We may never know.
How many times do I need to say it?
Viagra. You know the name. Ask for it.
These are the Camper Scouts, earning their Eco Badge. They're sharing this FedEx electric vehicle and Frank's sustainable camping store with their global Scout community. Good thing Frank uses FedEx to help him expand his reach and make Earth a priority.
Ninja is back. Oh my goodness! It's Ninja versus Ninja. For the first time ever, Ninjas will race side by side.
This is Ninja, but turbocharged.
It'll never be the same. Here we go. It's gonna be close.
A new season of American Ninja Warrior. Monday, June 5th, only on CTV.
On this season of The Ultimate Fighter, former 2-division world champion Conor McGregor makes his return.
This is my game forever.
Against Iron Michael Chandler. Oh! They'll face off as coaches, guiding 8 former UFC fighters. Against 8 hoping to get their first shot. The Ultimate Fighter. Team McGregor versus Team Chandler. Begins Tuesday on TSN.
Imagine Dad when he was a kid. He didn't have Sparkly to show him how to brush. He must have had to remember everyone's order in his head. He couldn't even watch golf in the yard. And imagine getting your allowance in coins.
Imagine what it'll be like when yours owes me.
Explosive. The rivalry is on. Add it to the highlight reel. That's what now let's get this baby on.
Damn. 93 laps complete in Charlotte. William Byron back to the lead. Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. They're not just racing on the track. There are some upset pit crew members down in stalls 1 and 2. Jamie.
Yes, Mike, there was a disagreement after that last stop. Rudy Fugel for the 24 William Byron got off the box, went over to Brad Keselowski's pit box to talk to his crew chief, Matt McCall. Now, Rudy told me we had an agreement. You see me ask him right there. He said, we had an agreement. We need to figure out what to do because they didn't abide by it. See right here, the 24 cuts through the pit box. So Matt McCall said he has cut through our box twice, coming so close to our jackman. In fact, he was so fired up, he asked NASCAR to get involved and handle it, said it's against the rules.
So Larry Mack, what did Keselowski's jackman do?
Yeah, he hesitated because they were so tight with one another coming in. He ended up going around the back side of the car. The tire changers were waiting on him to get there, and that resulted basically in a 13:04 pit stop. You see it right here. Watch, see the jackman, he has to go around the gas man and everything else, and that's what slowed that pit stop down.
Because the 24 went through their box and he got stumbled up and had to go around it. But let me tell you something. The heat is on for this lead. Win of the stage right here. Blaney putting some serious pressure on William Byron. This is impressive. This is some silver lining, some hope for these Fords. We've been talking about the struggle that's real for the Ford Mustang, especially on these mile-and-a-half racetracks. And Ryan Blaney is very impressive.
Blaney wanted a chassis adjustment on that pit stop. They didn't get a chance to make it, and here he is battling for the lead.
I think I'd leave it alone for now.
Yes.
Well, it is a little bit better on the backside of this run. Maybe they did get that adjustment this last stop. Love that. See, he's going where there's not. Watch this momentum. Tony's been telling us about the momentum off of 2. Here it comes. Look at that. Gonna probably have to take the bottom. Drive it off in there harder. Can't really do a slide job here, Tony. Have to keep it on the bottom. But if you can come off the corner door to door, you might open the door for this Bell. Look at the momentum. Christopher Bell's now. Got to block him now.
Last lap, stage 1.
Blaney's going to be committed to the bottom. He doesn't have an option right now.
Now he can't get up.
Lap car just ahead. Todd Gilliland drops to the bottom. That's Byron's momentum a bit.
Whoa, that was so close.
Byron hangs on for the stage. His 7th stage win of the season. Most of all drivers, and his first at Charlotte. William Byron started from the pole and wins stage 1 of the Coca-Cola 600.
We're all busy, but sometimes we put off the important things, like helping to provide financial protection for your family if the worst happens.
Welcome to Cover Direct. You're speaking to Sally. How can I help you?
Hi, your commercial for family life insurance says I can get coverage over the phone with no complicated forms.
Yes, that's right. You can arrange everything in just one phone call. If you're a Canadian resident aged 18 to 65, you can apply for up to 1 point.
Stage 1 of the only 4-stage race on the NASCAR schedule in the books. Each stage 100 laps. Here's our Toyota Camry TRD pace car. All new for 2023. Lights ablaze, but there's a green light at the head end of pit road. And here come the 33 lead lap cars. Chase Briscoe will get the free pass on this caution. Regan?
Well, Ryan Blaney had been loose early on in the race. This run, though, it was tighter. He speculated, though, maybe because I was behind cars. Don't expect a big change there. And the 20 of Christopher Bell, he said he doesn't need a thing right now, but he told the team to keep an eye on the right side. He made a little contact on the right side coming off of turn 4. Jamie?
Denny Hamlin said he had better balance that first run. He said right now really just struggling to find grip when he's up top. Meanwhile, the 24 of William Byron a little loose over the bumps, tight around traffic, but overall pretty good.
Byron holds station, and NASCAR officials came on the radio, told William Byron's crew to keep your car out of the 6's pit box. So stage 1 and its pit stops are complete.
Take a look at this special presentation.
Drivers, start your engines!
She's mean and she's fast and she's too tough to take.
Green flag, we're racing at Darlington.
Oh boy, here we go. This is going to be tight right here. Checkered flag in the air. Here they come through turn 4. Unbelievable.
Wow, took 75 years to come up with all that. That is very cool. 105 laps complete in Charlotte. We're joined by our honorary pace car driver, Danny McBride from Righteous Gemstone. Season 3 drops June 18th on HBO Max. We all remember you as the Eastbound and Down guy.
Yes, that's
of course,
me.
I mean, what a hero.
That would have been Kenny Powers.
Yes,
Mike. Everybody knows Kenny Powers. I don't know how you ever came out of character from that.
Some say I never did, you know?
I don't know that that's a bad thing.
There was a Danny before Eastbound, and there's the Danny after. Yeah.
So which one was driving the pace car?
You know, he would none of them because I was in the passenger seat.
Oh, okay.
Which I was initially disappointed by, but after getting down there, I'm so glad that I wasn't driving.
Wait a minute.
It was so intimidating down there. I mean, that was insane.
Did you fail the test?
I think yesterday I missed the certification because this rain. Yeah.
Stupid rain got us all.
Yep.
But what a fun weekend. And you stayed in the infield last night?
I stayed in the infield, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Slept right out there. No tent, nothing. Laid in the mud under the stars. It was beautiful.
Probably we're parked right next to him then.
Yep. I saw you out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, he was right over there. I see on the back stretch. Man, I love that you're here. Everybody's a huge fan of yours. Went to school, right? I just saw
Yep, in Winston-Salem. Yep, not too far away.
From Virginia, right?
Grew up in Virginia, yep.
Awesome, I love it. What do you think about this racetrack?
I think it's incredible. I mean, it was pretty insane out there how steep that those turns are. It's awesome.
How do you think Kenny Powers would do on this racetrack?
I think he'd be too drunk when he'd show up. He wouldn't be able to participate in any of the festivities.
Well, get up here. Help us call this thing. Get on up here.
All right, so Eric Jones has gone to the garage with radiator issues, closely followed by his teammate Noah Gregson, and his other teammate and co-owner Jimmy Johnson had just pulled into the garage when all that started. So your leader's Michael McDowell. He stayed on the racetrack from 30th, did not pit. Then Byron, Bell, and Blaney.
All teams will be watching that car, that 34 car. Let's see how he can do on these old tires, staying out here. Can he capitalize? Be a game changer if he can for cars later in this race.
Reddick around the outside. rim riding up there all the way to third.
There's Kyle Busch on the outside of Keselowski as well. Truex got hung out there, had to go to the bottom.
Brad and Truex send it on the bottom from 4th and 6th place, and here it sorts out. McDowell's gamble was to gain track position, got him the restart at the front, but now on those older tires you see how quickly he backslides.
He's losing about 3 cars a lap right now. He just keeps getting stuck in the middle and he can't get any momentum.
Well, we learned something. We learned what not to do.
Still in there barely, but there. Very bottom at your door. Bumper, clear.
But honestly, if you're McDowell's team right now, this is the time to try it, to get a read on it, see if it's going to gain. If he can hang on and get some positions out of it, netting at the end of this run, then it gives them hope that they can do that later in the day too.
That's a pretty heavy cloud cover coming here. It'll definitely play a role on this racing surface for these teams. See if these guys get tight or loose here as these clouds approach.
Chase Elliott breaks into the top 10, 3 wide behind him. Still a lot of jostling in the back of this pack. Single file for the first 9 spots, and then this.
What'd that track feel like out there, Danny? He's out there driving that pace car.
It felt tight and loose. It was perfect.
Good balance. You would make a good race car driver.
Sounds just like Clinton.
He's not doing anything right here.
The sad part is we've driven cars that were tight and loose at the same time.
Trying to explain that to your crew chief. Miserable.
But,
it's just both.
But seriously, folks, how about this crowd and how many of them have stayed to be here on a Monday?
It's incredible. It's awesome to see the support and the fans out here having fun.
Talked about it, Tony. Pretty impressive with this Christopher Bell.
I honestly feel like I know we've had different guys at the point up here, but I feel like what I've seen out of Christopher today, I feel like he is the strongest car at this point of the race.
I love that conversation. I love the argument. This Ryan Blaney in the 12 car, very strong, very impressive with the Ford Mustangs.
And we've seen good parity today with all 3 manufacturers. They've all 3 ran up front. They've all 3 pretty much stayed in the top 3 positions and have led at different times.
Yeah, but everybody's been hard on the Mustangs, and you know I want to talk about that a little bit. The Fords, right? They've been the missing link of this conversation, and I think the proof's in the pudding. Blaney is extremely strong here this weekend.
And Keselowski. In fact, the first 6 cars right now are all from different race teams, different organizations. Well, there's a little more upset on pit road, and this time it's from Martin Truex and company.
Still really tight getting out of that 3 car. Yeah, they keep coming to us because they can come back. I said, no, it's their fault that they're more running crew chief picked there. So they just need to deal with it. Hopefully they go down a lap or crash. We back up some more. We are like hanging out of the box. We can,
Martin Truex and James Small's talking about the 3 of Austin Dillon, who is pitted just in front of them.
We didn't used to hear a lot about that back in the day, but with the new car and the rack and pinion steering, the steering doesn't turn quite as tight as the old cars used to, so that's why you see it all the way down. Difficult for these drivers to get in and out of their boxes.
William Byron leading Christopher Bell by a car length, and Tyler Reddick is there. 117 completed Charlotte. And a half back. Keselowski 4th and Byron 5th. Danny McBride with us from Righteous Gemstone, and understand you drive a NASCAR car this season.
I do. I get behind a stock car, and it doesn't turn out so well for my character. I put it into the wall, you could say.
At Darlington? At
Darlington, yes.
You wrecked the car?
I wrecked the car.
It was tight and loose?
It was tight and loose, and I put it into the wall.
Who were you racing?
Well, you got to watch the show. It's a spoiler, but I come up against another driver, and it doesn't turn out so well for me.
Hey, a little confidence booster, though. That's easy to do at Darlington.
Yeah. Is it? It's easy to go into the wall.
Very easy.
Good. I'm not going to feel too bad about it then.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, and hope you enjoy the rest of this 600.
I hope so, too. This has been awesome. Thanks for having me here. It's been incredible to watch this.
What do you think? You know, a lot of vibrant colors out here. What do you think old Kenny Powers, what would that car look like out on this racetrack?
I think it'd be leopard skin.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Some fluorescent greens, maybe some fluorescent yellows, you know. Maybe he'd strap a mullet to the back of it, you know, and tendrils of hair would fly off the back.
Love it. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, Danny. All right, 15th, Kyle Larson. Bubba Wallace and Joey Logano trying to work his way back up. Still trying to gain ground, Logano is, after that incident on the first caution flag of the day where he had to back up to get into his pit stall. All right, we got some William Byron audio as Byron now sitting in 5th place.
I feel okay. I'm not sure. No, we just don't have a ton of pace, but we're going to do all we can, race smart. Keep having a good pit stop. Keep going. Long day here. Inch at a time, lap at a time.
You know, I don't know, Tony, is that part of, like I was talking and watching these clouds coming in, it is getting darker outside. It has to play a little bit of a role in a grip level in this racetrack. And you're starting to see Tyler Reddick and this 45 car coming alive. Blaney's still hanging tough, but Byron having trouble.
We got a lot of rubber on the racetrack. That's the one variable we haven't spoke about. We've talked about the temperature of the racetrack, but what we haven't talked about is during these longer runs, how much rubber's on the racetrack and how that'll change the balance as well.
Great point. That's the ever-changing racetrack, keeping up with it, of the 600, the transition that we all talk about. That's a big part of that equation. Look at that. Look how close they're running the wall. 185 mile an hour. Get you some.
Take a look at our lap leaders, sponsored by Novartis. William Byron's been out in front for 54 laps. Twice as many as Christopher Bell. Blaney, Hamlin, and McDowell have also led laps. And McDowell's experiment is, well, pretty well over. He was 30th when he stayed out and did not pit on that last caution. Restarted up front. Now he's back at 28th. Speaking of lap leaders, Kyle Larson in 17th. Oh, he led almost all of them last week in the All-Star race. Jamie?
That's right, Mike. It seems like no matter where we race, we're always talking about Kyle Larson running up front. Well, that certainly hasn't been the case so far today. He just has a tight race car, and they have adjusted on it with wedge and air pressure. All 3 stops, and I just heard his crew chief, Cliff Daniels, come on the radio and said, nothing's working. We're going to go about it a completely different way. This next stop, we're going to try different adjustments.
Well, it sounds like last week when Kyle said they were junk on Friday and said they had no chance of winning the All-Star race, and then all of a sudden Sunday,
dominated.
Whole different deal.
We've never heard any drivers ever have similar stories to that.
We've also been watching how teammates are pretty well spread apart in this rundown. You have to go pretty far down to find any teammates. Usually there are clumps of them. Not so much here. Now here is the weirdest teammates on the same page story that maybe I've ever heard. Both of the full-time Legacy Motor Club cars, Noah Gregson the 42, Eric Jones the 43, they both hit debris on the track that punctured their radiator, apparently on the same lap. And they're out.
No way. How is that even possible?
That's an episode.
You just destroyed all my cars.
And Jimmy Johnson had gone to the garage 1 lap prior.
This is not the day you're looking for.
Nope.
I tell you what, you see Jimmy Johnson working on that car.
There is Johnson going around now. Did not hit the wall, but apparently sustained some damage. And then Jones being pushed back to the garage, and lap or 2 later, Noah Gregson.
And Eric Jones was on a march. He was marching to the front, much like he did last year. Very, very strong, very fast.
You think that cat wants to get back out there and get after it again?
Always.
Well, the last Cup race that he ran was at COTA in Austin, Texas. And his race did not make it around lap 1 there. Josh.
Yeah, and you guys just talked about the troubles for Jimmy Johnson as they're back here in the garage continuing to work on that car. But he did spin out. He grazed the wall, a little bit of damage to the left front, so they adjusted the toe, thought that would help. But when Jimmy went back out, he said the steering wheel was much, much worse. So they knew they're going to have to come in, and it would take some time to figure out exactly what's wrong and how they can get it fixed, guys.
Thanks, Josh. Here's the lead battle, and the Bell and Reddick in the Joe Gibbs and 2311 Toyotas running 1-2. They are a second ahead of Ryan Blaney in third. Denny Hamlin hard at work there in 9th place. And here's one of Clint's Super 6 questions. Which of these drivers will have the better finish at the end of the race, Tony, and by how many positions?
That's tough.
Well, of course.
It's $25,000 I'm giving to you.
To be tough.
I'm going to get in when I think I can get the easy money.
Come on, man. Hey, there ain't no easy money in my money, buddy. You're going to get it the hard way. I love it, though. I actually, Cindric's been in the wall.
Yep.
I actually got on there and looked at those questions myself. Whoever wins that one, they're going to earn their money this week. Got into it pretty hard, Tony.
And he's been flirting with the wall all day. He started up there and stayed committed to the very, very top.
Saturday, Cindric was the star of the show in the drivers only telecast. What a great pit reporter he'll be someday. Michael McDowell had to make the pit stop and went 2 laps down in the process after restarting up front without having taken new tires.
Yeah, Larry, let's not do that again. That didn't work, buddy. Don't keep me out there.
But like Tony said, that was a good time to test the waters. Do it early.
That water's cold.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Very, very
deep,
cold.
too.
I like this lap traffic the leader's getting into. These lappers aren't just moving over and giving these leaders the outside. You see Briscoe there. There goes Christopher Bell, the leader in front of you, and Reddick closed the gap a lot. They're having a race for position here, trying to stay not only on the lead lap, to stay that first car on the lead lap in case a caution comes out to get the lucky dog.
Momentum.
Jamie.
And Denny Hamlin, we were riding on board. There you see him right there, bringing it down to make a pit stop and some adjustments. Having a hard time getting grip up on top of the racetrack earlier, so that just started. Now all the crews are up on the wall, Mike.
Yeah, that's a little bit early there, Jamie. Oh, he stalls it leaving, too. That's going to costly. But he was starting to fall back. I think the handling was going away from him. Kyle Busch on pit road.
Ty Gibbs in as well. Regan.
Well, Kyle Busch's car is really good for the first 10 to 15 laps of the run, but after that, the right sides just feel like they're way too out of the racetrack for him. Need some help with that.
Larry, what do you think about the timing of Hamlin's stop?
Yeah, it's a little bit early, but if your car's not handling well, I think I said this in the pre-race yesterday, come a little early, get advantage of those 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
All right, Zane Smith is in. He's in the 38 this week. Keselowski and Truex to pit road. Jamie.
Like told Brad Keselowski, you have been turning some of the fastest lap times on pit road. Car is good. Started out a little bit stronger there, but just a little too tight overall.
Martin Truex losing time up on the top side of the racetrack. Doesn't like it up there as much. The problem is he doesn't have any grip on the bottom, so he's got to run it up high. And the 12 of Ryan Blaney, his car feels pretty good through 1 and 2. A loose over 3 and 4 through the bumps. Struggling just a little bit with the nose taken off on the Exodus 4 as well.
Boy, and now pit road is full of cars, more than a dozen of them. Reddick comes out. Byron heads for his stall. Blaney is in. Allmendinger done with his service. Haley, Almirola, Larson, Austin Dillon, Suarez all on pit road. Logano finishing up.
Christopher Bell 20. On pit road, your leader.
And that will draw everybody else on the lead lap to pit road. Regan.
Christopher about 2 free this run. As you see, the car behind him having trouble getting out of the pit stall. Maybe threw the timing off a little bit, and now bigger problems on the right there. But with the race car just a little bit too free right now for him.
Ricky Stenhouse getting service. He had come up into the top 10 Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace in, Ryan Preece.
Here's your battle here. Keep an eye on Reddick. Pitted a lap before your leader, Christopher Bell. Wasn't too far behind him. He's going to go by him. There he goes.
And not by a little, but by a lot.
Sure did.
So that should be the lead when we cycle through. Chase Elliott, Corey LaJoie has yet to pit. Harrison Burton, Chase Briscoe have yet to make their stops. Teammates, Bell and Truex there.
Bumper, a bumper clear.
So the first 4 cars on your scoring rundown have not yet pitted. Halfway through stage 2. Let's compare the pit stops of Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. Driver within a second, but a big difference in the pit stop.
Part of that, the 31
All
car,
kinds of
Justin
trouble.
Haley was right behind, and that's what caused that slow start.
Right rear of the 20 car. All kinds of trouble with the tire changer getting there, and a lot of that had to do, Tony, with your thing you pointed out, the 31 of Justin Haley so deep in his pit box.
Penalty on Bubba Wallace. Equipment interference. He'll have to do a drive-through penalty, and there is a very close call.
That's exactly what it was. Not only was he slow getting to the wheel, then he had to look over his shoulder to make sure that 31 wasn't going to run him over.
Well, the tire carrier had to wait for the 31 car to clear before he could get around the left side of that tire changer.
Let's see how good.
So here's the comparison of the leaders.
So he did a little bit better job with the speed through the center, but Bell caught him back up by the time they got to the line for the most part. I'm going to put that mostly on that pit stop. That's good work, Larry. Thank you.
Your leader, he'll be pitting this time. Corey LaJoie in second. Harrison Burton has pitted, so this will complete green flag stops. Now, Elliott was 13th before this pit cycle began.
There the hands out the window. He will pit this time by.
Bubba Wallace has just served his drive-through penalty at pit road speed. Corey LaJoie is on pit road, so Elliott will be the last to pit. And he pits from the lead. Josh?
And Chase Elliott, who's now led 6 laps, said he was way too free early in the race. They made an adjustment. He felt better, but still could use to be a little bit tighter, guys.
Tire stop, and this will cycle the Carolina blue Toyota of Tyler Reddick back to the lead.
Thanks for correcting me on that, Mike. I called it baby blue in the heat of battle earlier. How dare I do that in Carolina?
154 laps complete. Reddick, Keselowski, Blaney, Truex, and Bell, the top 5.
Staff Sergeant Curtis Roy Klein.
Chief Warrant Officer 3, Ryan Michael Conley.
Sergeant Alessandro Platino.
Staff Sergeant Michael A. Dickinson II.
Master Chief Petty Officer Mark Phillip Crampton.
Staff Sergeant Ari Colors.
We race to remember on Memorial Day. Everyone at the south end of Charlotte Motor Speedway is high and dry, but at the north end, the sky is crying, and we are under caution for a pesky rain shower just in turns 3 and 4. They're going to fourth caution flag of the day, this one for rain at lap 156. Tyler Reddick leading Brad Keselowski, the big gainer on that round of pit stops.
Jack William Roper, radio technician, 2nd class.
Captain Brian Bourgeois, U.S. Navy.
Nicholas Tomko, Sergeant, United States Army.
Lance Corporal Jonathan Ederling, United States Marines.
Chase Elliott Racing to remember Army Captain Christopher Scott Seifert from Pennsylvania. The two pace cars, soldiers lost in Afghanistan. Army Specialist Jonathan Davis, Lance Corporal Matthias Hansen, and the officials' trucks. Two Army soldiers lost in Iraq, Corporal Jeremy Beaufort and Staff Sergeant Clint Story. And from World War II, Army Private Kenneth New and Marine Lance Corporal Andrew Kearney. NASCAR races to remember this Memorial Day weekend, and we are halted by rain for the umpteenth time this weekend. Now, the Xfinity race, the Alsco 300, was started this morning at 11 a.m. after getting rained out Saturday, and they got through stage 1 and into stage 2 when rain came, and NASCAR began track drying to start this race, the 600. So the Xfinity race will air later today. After the conclusion of the Cup race, they will restart that race, pick up where they left off on FS2. Jimmie Johnson got back out on track. He is 52 laps down, but his car was running at the time of the red flag. Let's join Jamie.
And Brad Keselowski, I heard him on the radio and I was watching myself. You turned some of the fastest lap times of this race so far. What'd your car feel like there right before the rain came back?
Yeah, with the Castro Ford, we started out the race really, really loose, and I was like, oh, I just need to not wreck. Made a few adjustments and got on the other side of it. So I think the car's got more potential in it than what we've been able to hit so far. It's but still pretty strong, Jamie. Really proud of everybody here at RFK to bring two good cars. I think Chris Buescher, my teammate, working his way up in the top 10. He didn't have all that great a starting spot. So we've got a shot to win. We just got to race. We got to get out of the rain, and we got to get our Ford Mustang in a spot where we can capitalize.
I know you're a big supporter of the military and everything that you do for them. What does this race mean to you in carrying a soldier's name on your car?
Yeah, it is super special. You know, the taps at the start of the race, and then, you know, the moment of silence. Those are really cool things to get to participate in, and I'm so glad that NASCAR works so hard. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, but one thing we try not to forget is our servicemen and servicewomen. And on Memorial Day, you know, this is normally a Memorial Day weekend race, but not on Memorial Day. It bears even more fruit, more significance, Jamie. So proud to be a part of it. You know, we got a lot of great initiatives with my foundation that we're up to as well to try to support them with tribute to veterans and different things with my Checker Flag Foundation. And we have Staff Sergeant Klein and his family that are on my windshield. They're up on the pit box. I'm going to go say hi to them. They are pushing really hard for me to win. I got a whole pep speech, Jamie, on what do it mean for them to win, and we want to go do that.
Well, thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Regan?
Well, Jamie, things have been going very well for Tyler Reddick so far today. Out front, the 45 car has looked solid all day long. You haven't said a lot on the radio. Is it as much fun as it looks?
Yeah, the car is a lot of fun to drive, obviously. And, yeah, we picked a great car to do it with. You know, Kurt had a lot of speed at Kansas with this car, and Tyron really good at Richmond for the little experience he had at the time. So, yeah, just having a blast. You know, this place, when you can move around on it with resin or no resin, you know, even thinking back to my Xfinity days, you know, when you can run all over this racetrack, it's a lot of fun. So just really happy that our Toyota Camry TRD is that strong. 2311 did an outstanding job. I knew they had a lot of speed looking back at this race from last year. So obviously it's a very long race, and we got 242 laps to go, but certainly to have the pace that we do definitely makes you feel good.
How does it feel to carry Michael Jordan's colors in his home state? Pretty awesome to have that Carolina blue on there.
Yep, a little bit of pressure, and I'm just fine with it.
Now, I'm also told that a lot of the younger kids, and I'm too old to know what this means, they say that car has a lot of drip. Do you know what that means?
It's not in my vocabulary, Regan, but definitely that means they like it. That means it's in. So, yeah, the car does look really good. You know, Sparker did a really good job of getting me a suit to match the car. Off-axis paint, Greg Stump did a knockout job on the helmet. Between that and having the airships that match the car too, the Nike shoes, yeah, I mean, everyone went all out on this thing, between the shoes, the suits, everything.
Good luck the rest of the day. Thanks. Josh?
Regan talking drip. I never thought I'd see the day, but here with Jimmie Johnson, I know it's been a rough start to this race for you, so you spin out early, go back to the garage to work on the car. What all went wrong?
I think I learned a lesson with this aero package that I just didn't know, and unfortunately I didn't realize what was going on until I was in a bad situation trying to pop out and go around the outside of the 7 car. But you know, I felt like I was learning the car, learning this next-gen car. It's my first time in 1.5 miles in this vehicle. Much different than the car that I've driven in the past. And moving up through the field, you know, I think, honestly, we had a top 15, top 10 opportunity tonight. And unfortunately, without any practice and trying to learn the car, I made a mistake down there 1 and 2.
What's it like for you to be back in the Coke 600, though, a place where you've had so much success?
It's great to be back. I mean, I really, really love being back, love being a part of this race team, and love the sport from Club Wyndham. But it was really awkward because I've never been so ill-prepared for a race in my life. I think I got 30 laps in the sim. Was expecting 20 minutes of practice and didn't get that, didn't get qualifying, and rolled off for the first time here at the tail end of the field. So just through all the years I've been here and all the experience I've had, it was just a different way of going about it. But I felt like probably 5 or 10 laps in, I kind of knew where I needed to place the car, how I needed to drive the car, and unfortunately just made a little mistake there.
Thanks, Jimmy. Guys?
Thanks, Josh. Well, the sun is shining brightly from the west. Here's a look at Jimmy's wins at Charlotte. He doesn't like to brag, so we have to do it for him. That was 3 in a row. Add another one in the 600 here in 2014. Yes, there was a time this was his house.
It didn't matter. When you came to Charlotte Motor Speedway, you had to beat that guy to win this race.
Well, yeah, and it just showed the ones he won. It doesn't show the ones that he led most of the race or half of the race and finished second or third. I mean, this was his playground, just like it was for Dale Sr. at Daytona. Lowe's Motor Speedway at the time, Charlotte Motor Speedway, was Jimmy Johnson's playground for sure.
Another valid point that he said, all the experience, we just showed you the wins, you know, you can't put any of that experience to good use getting in this new car. No time, like he was talking about, limited time on the sim. I mean, it's hard. If you're just getting in something, I mean, we had to go to the sim. I hated the sim. I quite frankly got sick inside of it. Not sick of it, I got sick inside. You know, it would almost give you kind of vertigo, and I just had trouble with it. And then the correlation from the simulator to the actual real deal on the racetrack, I never could make that work. I mean, I almost had better luck getting on iRacing, and that's what I used to, you know, go to Sonoma and actually won that race off of iRacing. But him and that experience that he's had, that has to be a challenge for even the best at a racetrack like this.
Well, yeah, you look how decorated he is in this sport and what he's been able to accomplish over the years, and to come into a new car that he's not familiar with. Thank God it's a track he's familiar with. Can you imagine if he had to go to 1.5 miles he hadn't been to in a new car? Yeah. So it just shows how technical these new cars are. Jimmy's a guy that'll figure it out very, very quickly. I mean, we were watching him run with Joey Logano. I mean, Joey knows his way around here really well, knows these cars well. I am confident that the time he spent behind Joey, he was taking notes and learning and watching how Joey was driving the car, and that's what he was applying as well.
Well, let's talk about this racetrack. The dark cloud that was over turns 3 and 4 has kind of moved off. We saw some sunshine coming from over behind the grandstand, and I don't hear the jet dryers anymore. Call me the eternal optimist, but we might be pretty close to getting drivers back into the cars. Jamie?
And William Byron's led 54 laps here, but it seems like you guys have been throwing some things at it, adjusting a little bit. How was it there on that after the last stop when you made a wedge adjustment?
It was better. I think there's 3 to 4 cars that had more pace than us just overall. They kind of got us shortly after that initial restart. So I think we just need a little bit more pace, but hopefully that balance adjustment gets us a little bit closer where we can carry some more speed through 3 and 4. That's really where we're down on some speed. So Liberty University Chevy was good there at the start, kind of fending off those guys on the stage end. That was tough trying to hold them off, but certainly a long race, and we just got to stay in it and do a good job with our adjustments and restarts to stay up front. So we'll see how it all cycles through here.
William is so committed to his craft. When they called the race and called all activity here because of rain on Saturday, he went back to the Chevrolet simulator, turned some laps in there for a couple of hours. So how similar was the real race car compared to what you were doing in sim on Saturday?
It was pretty close. I mean, I think, you know, honestly, some of the bumps in 3 and 4 are a little bit higher than we anticipated, but that Chevy tool is so good that those guys do such a good job just across the street at the GM Tech Center. So thanks to them for all their help, and certainly fired off the race pretty close. Just like I said, a couple guys seem to be a little bit faster than us right now, but hopefully as the track transitions, we have some more pace.
Love the patriotic paint scheme. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Liberty did a great job with it. Really excited to run those colors. Have the chrome number on it, so it's fun. Hopefully we get to 400 here and have a shot.
Thanks, William. Regan?
Well, Alex Bowman back after a 4-week absence from the Cup Series for the broken vertebrae that you suffered a few weeks ago in that sprint car race. Got to ask first and foremost, how is that back feeling here at the start of the 600-mile race?
Yeah, apparently I shrunk a little bit when I broke my back, or you grew, I don't know. But no, it's great to be back. Really fortunate that I was able to come back as quickly as I did, and just thanks to Ally and Hendrick Motorsports and everybody for giving me all the support to come back. Doesn't feel the worst so far, so wish we were running a little bit better. I think our car's okay, just pretty buried on track position, and we kind of gave up even more track position to try to make some big changes to be better later. So hopefully that pays off. I know you're sick of filling rain time, so looks like it's drying up, and hopefully we'll be good here the rest of the night.
You mentioned those big changes to the race car. You made an extra pit stop on that lap 100 break to get things perfect. How nice is it to have a race long enough that you can make those changes and work on it significantly as it goes on?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely helps. You know, we're in a not optimal pit box and kind of got buried through that cycle on track position, and we're like, man, let's just give up a little bit more, make a change, and see if it can help us for later. So like you said, this race is super long, and want to give a shout out to Nick Tomko. Having his name on the car means a lot. Have some guys that served with him here. It's an honor to have his name on the car. So just remembering everybody that's fought for us on this Memorial Day, and hopefully we get them in victory lane later tonight.
Very well said, Alex. Thank you.
Thanks, Regan. The rain has stopped and track drying has resumed out on the Speedway. The Air Titans and the jet dryers out there now in full force. Our Fox Sports NASCAR crew wanted to remember and honor their family members who have served our country in the armed forces. Center at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where the sun is out and the cars are rolling under caution. This will complete lap 159. There's Tyler Reddick, your leader, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney in third, Martin Truex, Christopher Bell are the top 5. 3 Toyotas and 2 Fords. The first Chevy is Kyle Busch in 6th and William Byron in 7th. We have 25 cars on the lead lap, including Austin Cindric, who just got the free pass for this caution for a brief rainstorm. Here's your progressive race summary. Tyler Reddick, the most recent of 7 leaders. We've had 12 lead changes, 25 cars now on the lead lap, and this is the 4th caution flag of the day. Now, Christopher Bell, there's news on what has been the fastest car on track so far. During the red flag period, that team made unapproved adjustments. He will restart in the rear.
Really? You're not supposed to do that, Tony.
So they say.
If
Dang it. I'll tell you what.
Further details, we'll pass them on.
That's a big hit for them.
Curious what the unapproved adjustment was, though. I mean, he's been in the top 3 the majority of this race. What was so bad?
Much, right?
Yeah, what was so bad that they needed to make that change to sacrifice the track position?
Under a red flag, which we had for rain with the cars stopped on pit road, teams are allowed to service the driver and cover the car, and that's it.
How about that? Reddick stayed out. Here comes Keselowski and a bunch of them. Leader Reddick staying out.
Keselowski, Burton in their pit boxes. Logano, LaJoie peels off. Jamie.
And Brad Keselowski in the 6th, as you noted, he is peeling off. He's coming into his box now. Said he was a touch too tight on the short run, that last go around on the short run. So 4 tires here. The 24 William Byron needs to have better pace. Wants to be a little bit faster. A 4 tire stop here and air pressure.
a number of cars on the lead lap stayed out. So we'll reset the field for you when we come back. Oh, the hood is up on Kyle Larson. At the end of this caution flag and red flag for rain. Now, during the red flag, there was an incident, some pushing and shoving between Bubba Wallace and Eric Almirola about something that had happened out on the track. And when push came to shove, the NASCAR security was right there to prevent.
How is it always that guy? It's always that guy breaking things up. Hey, look at this car's. Oh, whoa. He's the one that had. Who do you have in a headlock in Kansas? Wasn't it Kansas? Noah Gregson. Yeah. Man, that guy's always seemed to be. It just to give him a little bit more time.
I would love to know what it was, though, because that's if you get Eric Almirola that mad, something big's happened.
Also, before we go green, Joey Logano, equipment interference. His tire rolled into the adjacent pit box as that car was pulling in. So he will go to the back. Here's a look at it. The tire rolls. It's not caught. In comes the 51, and that was in their way. Christopher Bell, as we go back to green, will restart in the back. The team was found to be cutting the vinyl wrap from the hood during the red flag. So that's an unapproved adjustment. He starts in the rear with one of the fastest cars here. It is Reddick and Blaney up front as we're back to green.
Obviously, the top 5 stayed out on tires. Not much separation between these sets of tires here. So I think these top 5 will hold on pretty strong.
Oh, trouble. Round goes Jimmy Johnson. And caution waves. So that'll be the 5th caution at lap 164.
Looks like the toe link on the right rear is definitely bent. Man, not the day he was looking for, one of his favorite racetracks.
Now, Noah Gregson.
Tell me it's not so.
And Eric Jones are back on track. So let's see who Jimmy gets together with here.
His teammate, Noah Gregson, right there on the outside. Trying to get to his outside. Jimmy came up. They get into one another. I don't think Jimmy knew he was there.
That camp has had a rough day today.
Absolutely. Johnson down 49, Gregson 55, and Eric Jones back on track, but 59 laps down after some debris came up and punctured both Gregson and Jones radiators. They got the cars fixed and back out.
We'll go back to something you said. It was so interesting to see Almirola. I mean, I was his teammate for a long time. That is so uncharacteristic for him to throw a shove like that. Man, I wish I was a bug on the wall there, knew what they said.
So Almirola is 14th. Wallace had gone a lap down. He will get the free pass on this caution, and Bubba's number 23 will be 26th and back on the lead lap when we resume. Caution out for the 5th time today in Charlotte, where Jimmy Johnson has taken his car back to the garage area after spinning at lap 75 and again at lap 164. 167 complete. 2:33 to go. Tyler Reddick leading Martin Truex, and a great crowd for a Monday.
I was going to say, how about a shout out to this crowd? Memorial Day weekend, what a deal. It's been up and down. We're going to race. No, we're not. We're going to race. No, we're not. They have held strong, been here all weekend long, and still here after the last rain delay.
And a shout out to Speedway head Greg Walter. Somebody tweeted him this morning, said, hey, what about letting the people with cup tickets in to watch the Xfinity race? He said, that's a great idea. And we're going to tell our people to do that. Let everybody in that has a ticket, let them come in. And somebody says, well, wait a minute, Bob Pockris said you're going to have a ticket or whatever. They were believing Bob, our Bob Pockris, over the president of the Speedway.
Did you see the boat that Tony saw right at the end? That's, hey, you might need that to get out of here.
You know what that is? That's Escape from Lake Havasu.
That's why I recognize it.
Oh, boy. Here's a segue. How about time for our Guaranteed Fit, sponsored by eBay Motors. Take it away, Larry.
All right, Martin Truex Jr. running second right now in mile-and-a-half tracks. He has 186 career start in the Cup Series on mile-and-a-half tracks with 12 wins, 48 top fives, 98 top tens, and has led over 4,300 laps on mile-and-a-half tracks. He has 3 wins at Charlotte, including 2 in the Coke 600. And you talk about a drubbing. In 2016, he led 392 of the 400 laps. This could be the eBay Motors guaranteed fit for Martin to get his 3rd Coke 600 win and his 2nd win of 2023.
I can get on board with that, Larry. I agree. Boy, I was there for one of them butt whoopings. 2016, he won the whole thing, all of it.
Jamie?
Well, as I talked about earlier, the 5 just so loose, and they threw everything at it that they could. A wedge adjustment, air pressure, wasn't making any movement. So you heard his crew chief, Cliff Daniels, say, we're going to make wholesale changes. That's exactly what they did. They brought him down, raised the hood, and made some major adjustments under the hood. See if they can tighten him up a little bit and get Kyle Larson in this race, Mike.
I like that, Jamie. Taking advantage of that break. Let's go back here. Let's dig into this sim, see if we can find a little bit better package, something we can do with an adjustment. Probably a shock adjustment's about the only thing you can do.
Full sunshine, turns 2, 3 in the back straightaway as we go back to green. Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex, Ryan Blaney up there.
Still inside 12, 19, still tight on you. 19's half back, headlight higher, still even with the 12.
See Denny slide up, getting 3 wide back there. Lost the nose on his car down in the bottom. Here comes Suarez. Haven't heard about him all day.
Well, he's had a great drive from midfield after the last restart. His team owner, Justin Marks, won the Trans Am race at Lime Rock today. Jumped on board a plane, hopes to get here in time for the finish of this one.
Great battles all over the racetrack. Doesn't surprise me. Everybody's got a lot more confidence in their cars. Had a break to think about things. They're ready.
Now remember, the drivers at the front have 8 or 9 more green flag laps on their tires than Buescher, Keselowski, Byron Busch, and the drivers behind them.
But the thing that they do have is clean air, and that's what's going to help these guys. The more laps they can get will close that deficit up between the older tires and the new tires.
Gonna push him again. No hole between here.
This 9 car's coming alive too. Chase Elliott, you know, talk about his point situation going for playoffs. He's going to need points. Where do you get those points on a long 600-mile track? Didn't capitalize in the first stage, but can he in stage 2, 3, and 4? Remember, an extra stage here. Big day for him.
Chase missed a bunch of races. He possibly could point his way into the playoffs. Of course, he'd rather win to get in, but it is a possibility as he's closing on that 16th place in the standings. Tyler Reddick pulling away by 4 or 5 car lengths, one of the biggest leads of the day.
5 laps this front circle.
It's one thing I've been impressed with 2311. You know, we talk about Toyotas, you think it gives quickly, and the dominance that Gibbs has always had, the stronghold on the competition. Don't get me wrong, Truex, Hamlin, all of them have been there, but you think back at Kansas and Darlington, like Bubba has kind of been the lead car in the last, you know, month or so at 2311. Reddick holding strong here, starting to join that conversation.
We talked about RFK earlier, and Chris Buescher here on the bottom looking for 3rd. Really, really strong after this restart.
Now he is the first car in the running order on new tires in 3rd. Keselowski, his teammate, in 6th. Kyle Busch in 7th. Denny Hamlin in 9th. William Byron in 10th. All with fresher tires than the cars they're racing.
Oh,
trouble!
Kyle Busch
around. Kyle Busch gets tagged by Suarez.
He got into Keselowski on that outside. Washed up right at the last minute. I was just fixing to say that group of cars right there were really getting after it. Kyle Busch is around backwards. Unbelievable. Still going backwards, Tony.
Kyle was 7th at the time, and in a pretty tight pack of cars there.
What is he doing?
He might.
What he's doing, he's doing a great job at it, but why is he doing it?
Get caught up.
Got to spin around and get caught up. You're gonna need to get caught up to go a lap down.
Find
here.
a flat spot so you don't.
These tires are all up, so I
there he goes.
Wow.
So he wants to try to stay on the lead lap here, get to pit road. Now here's a look at it. It's going to be behind these cars.
It's like it got loose, starts chasing it up the racetrack, gets in the side of Keselowski. Make note, Keselowski hit that outside wall pretty hard as well. That whole group right there, that was kind of that back half of the top 5 that stayed out, and the new tires coming on. See, Brad smoked the wall on the outside as well. Really lucky everybody missed him, Tony.
Yeah, you don't normally get that lucky here.
Now, both Keselowski and Busch were on newer tires.
Yeah, but they were right out. They were approaching what I was talking about. They were approaching that back half of the top 5 and is having trouble. Those guys were kind of holding them up and stacking that group up. There was 4 or 5 cars right there just in a big pile.
So we'll look to see if either Suarez or Keselowski has damage from this, as we get a look from Denny Hamlin and the Coca-Cola camera.
I will say, we talk about holding a pretty wheel. That's about as pretty as you're going to hold it going backwards.
So Kyle back on pit road. Coming up, home to iconic wins for Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and American Pharoah. The most famous final furlong in the history of racing is coming to Fox. Don't miss the Belmont Stakes, June 10th, only on Fox. Gonna have a little activity on pit road. Suarez, who may have had a little nose damage there, and Keselowski.
Well, I knew Keselowski was. Suarez, he was the back part of that, top 5 group that stayed out. Kind of forced their hand a little bit. Timing wasn't exactly perfect there, Larry.
Yeah, because a lot of those that had stayed out the time before, they had about 14 to 15 laps. We're going to go back racing with, right at, call it 20 laps to go. That's not what those guys wanted to see. They'd rather have seen this thing run out.
Tell you who else didn't want to see it. It's that guy right there in the 6. Hopefully it didn't bend that toe link on the outside. Back up the hood, underneath the hood on the 5. Didn't like that adjustment, Tony.
Or liked it and wants more of it.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Now, Christopher Bell restarted the last car on the lead lap, got his way up to 21st. Corey LaJoie will get the free pass for this caution as Kyle Busch goes around. 220 laps to go at Charlotte Motor Speedway in NASCAR's longest race, the Coca-Cola 600. Now we got some audio from Brad Keselowski's team about whether or not they had damage from that contact with Kyle Busch and the wall.
Should have took the top going into 3 and 4 there, TJ. They all looked like they were going to run it, so I went to the bottom and they filled down in front of me. It was the 99, so he probably would have ran the chicane back there and still came up and made it tried to mix corner, so probably did the right thing there, buddy. We'll be all right. There's still 221 to go, I believe, so.
Good. No concern there about the right rear. That's a fast race car. Jamie?
Yeah, just an update on this 6 for Brad Keselowski. This is one of the tires from the right sides. He got into the concrete pretty well, but he said the car feels fine, so no more damage. Got fresh tires on it, so the 6 should be fine. Good to go from here.
All right, just a few layers of paint there.
That's right. Well, good. You know, Brad's had a very strong start to this race.
All right, on old tires, Reddick and Blaney on the front row. Truex and Elliott, they're on the tires with 8 or 9 more green flag laps on them than everybody else. 20 to go in stage 2. That'll take us to halfway.
That's Eric Almirola in the wall off of 2. Stacking them all up. We're just talking about him getting things turned back around. 4 wide. Very tight getting him around here. Both sides. I hear it. Just got his day turned around, Tony.
Definitely off pace now.
Up front, Blaney, Reddick, Busher on the bottom. Almost slid up right to Reddick's door and drops in line 3rd.
I like the way Busher's car turns off the middle. Got that run down the back straightaway.
Truex in 4th has closed right up on the 3 leaders.
Comes Busher making that pass on Reddick.
Let's go back to the restart and show you the car with the black front, Eric Almirola.
Got out from underneath of him, didn't it, Tony?
Got loose, and then he chased it, and when he chased it, it overcorrected. Easy to do with the rack steering.
And it was Bowman had to take evasive action to the inside and get by. Oh, trouble front straightaway. Hard in the wall goes Hamlin.
Chase Elliott. Hard impact for Denny Hamlin.
That was a savage crash right at the start-finish line. Seventh caution flag. Lap 186. And the window net is down as the AMR safety crew quickly on the scene, dropping the window net. As we saw yesterday in the Indy 500, raising the visor. That's their driver's signal to the safety crew that the driver's okay. Hamlin dropped the net. He is all right.
That's big time impact there. Last year's winner, the Coke 600.
Left of your screen.
The inside of Chase. Gets loose. You see him lift out of the gas. The flames. Crowded Chase. Got into him. But they saw some retaliation there.
Or did Keselowski get into the left rear corner of Elliott there?
I saw Elliott. You see Elliott lose his nose and lift out of the gas. Flames come out of the pipes.
Yep.
Chase it up. Squeeze Chase into the wall. And I think the rest is self-explanatory.
Well,
you never know. No, as hard as he hit, you know, you start bending them toe links and things like that, could throw these cars around. Watch the flames. See, lift out of the gas. That means his car is heading up the racetrack. Come up. That's a retaliation.
Which isn't a great move when you're trying to gain points and get yourself back in the playoffs.
Yeah, but he got squeezed in the wall pretty hard. There's a lot of frustration there on both sides.
Let's ride with Hamlin.
You hear him trying to trying to stay out of it. Tell all sign when somebody's on the bottom is some flames coming out the pipes. That's something I love about this new car. You see that, you know a car's in trouble. –
vicious hit.
Well, that wall comes back out. You know, it's kind of in this tri-oval. We've seen it time and time again at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You hit right there. It's a very hard shot. Bad angle.
And Clint, you're exactly right. There was no contact from Keselowski. He was not involved. This might have all started back here at turn 2. Let's see. Back at the restart. Crowding there.
Yeah.
That's just 3 wide. I mean, that's not.
Chase got in trouble in the wake of the car in front of him. Got him up the racetrack a little bit. Denny never lifted, though. Denny drove up and got on the inside. I mean, that's it. We've seen it. You saw it, you know, with Chastain at Kansas Speedway. I mean, you have to lift in those scenarios, but the problem is when you do lift, they freight train you on both sides. That's a product of this car a little bit on a 1.5 miles.
Well, the best news is Denny Hamlin walked away from that car. We have some of Chase Elliott's radio here.
I ran over it twice in the last 4 laps. Did I miss something there, or no? I've not seen it yet. Just bring it to us if we can fix this.
Ooh, look at the right rear. That's toast. Jamie.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin hit hard, but he wasted no time jumping on the radio, and I'm going to paraphrase, but he said, that is complete BS. They should park his butt. And Chris Gabehart, his crew chief, came on the radio after watching the replay, and he said that was 100% intentional. It doesn't get more intentional than that.
Well, here's the thing. I totally understand Chase's side. I mean, you get leaned on enough, you get tired of it. But again, we talked about it yesterday, the point situation and the races that he missed. He needs to capitalize and get as many points as he possibly can get. So you hate to see him throw it away that way.
All right, pit road is open. Regan.
Well, Mike, the one car, Ross Chastain, they have been working hard on this car all night long, finally starting to get it close. The biggest problem had been the bumps. They had smoothed the bumps out. He likes it right now just a little bit loose. Jamie?
And William Byron said his car's a little bit better there, not as tight as it was, just still wants a little bit more pace to hang with those guys.
To go in stage 2. Here is another look at it as we are under caution for the 7th time today for Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott.
I'm gonna check to release from the care center. Denny, what happened there between you and Chase Elliott?
I got right rear hooked in the middle straight away.
Did you think there was any kind of retaliation there, or what was the deal? What led to that?
Yeah, it's a tantrum, and he shouldn't be racing next week. Right rear hooks are absolutely unacceptable. I don't care. It's the same thing Bubba Wallace did with Kyle Larson. The exact same. He shouldn't be racing. It's a tantrum.
Thanks, Denny.
Strong words from Denny Hamlin. Bubba Wallace was suspended for 1 race after he crashed Larson on lap 94 at Las Vegas for intentionally wrecking or spinning another vehicle from the rule book, whether or not that vehicle is removed from competition as a result.
How about Harvick? Back in the top 5, started 2nd, all the way back to 30th, all the way back inside the top 5. Unbelievable turnaround for that 4 team.
Well, look at how things have cycled through. You got Austin Dillon up in the top 10, Joey Logano, Ryan Preece.
Look at all these Fords. Fords everywhere on top of the Toyotas. Haven't seen that a lot this year.
9 to go in stage 2. And Chase Elliott out of the race after hoping for a bunch of stage points, got none today.
4 wide back there. Whew, that was tight.
4 wide for 3rd for a moment.
Look who's in that mix in that 20 car from the back.
It's battle for the lead here. Chris Buescher might
Gonna be the first time he's led today.
Awesome job.
Remember, he has the fresher tires out of this group at the front. Next car back with fresh tires, Harvick in 4th.
Been so long since we've seen these cars, RFK, producing lap-leading, race-winning cars, and we're seeing it this year.
And here comes Harvick. Down to the inside on Tyler Reddick. Harvick bottom feeding here. Reddick with the launch off the corner from the high side to hold third place, at least for the moment.
Tony, I don't know what they did to that race car, but holy cow, game changer.
It's definitely woken up for sure. I mean, that's the thing. We talked about it at the beginning of this race. Your car's not going to feel good. Get it to the end of each segment. Let the crew chief do the work. Rodney Childers, give him multiple opportunities. He's going to gain on it.
Jamie?
Yeah, and just to update the Ford, Kevin Harvick, he started on the front row and just dropped like a rock at the start of the race. He was just way too loose. I went and checked with the team at the end of stage 1, and they said, we've made some great changes. He's actually happy. He just can't go anywhere. So now that he has track position, we're really seeing what he's capable of just during the second fastest lap so far.
Wow, Reddick has dropped like a rock. He quickly falls to 7th place here. Going to be 5 to go in stage 2 when they come to the line. Josh is with Chase Elliott.
Yeah, Chase Elliott has been checked and released from the care center. Chase, what happened there between you and the 11? What led to what just happened?
Yeah, I can't hear you, but yeah, the 11 ran us up in the fence there, and once you tear the right sides off these things, it's kind of over. So just I hate it. I thought our Napa Chevy was getting better. It was nice to be making some gains there again throughout the race. Our pit stops are really good. And we had some pretty good fortune to get up towards the front there. So it was just trying to get to mile 600 and have a shot. So unfortunately failed to do that again.
Denny said there was some retaliation there. Was there any retaliation on your part?
No, like I say, once you hit the wall in these things, you can't drive them anymore. So, unfortunately, no, just an unfortunate circumstance.
That's Chase Elliott's side of the story. Chris Buescher, your leader. Kevin Harvick has come to 2nd. Joey Logano up there in front of his teammate Ryan Blaney. That's for 4th with Keselowski 3rd, and just 3 to go in the stage. Ty Gibbs had a big run going into turn 3 a lap ago. Dropped down to the bottom on Blaney and had to abort. Lost several car lengths. He's right back at it. And you see Reddick falling to the back end of the top 10 as Chastain goes by.
These Fords, they're everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unbelievable. See the Toyota starting to creep back into this picture with Ty Gibbs here, but just a huge chain of events. Some of that due in fact of the tires, right? Being off sequence on the tires and the pit stops. But a big turnaround for these Fords.
Blaney.
Momentum going here again. Give us no closing here. We don't need to give up any spots.
Blaney led 31 laps so far today, and that's more than Ford in total has led on the 1.5 miles this season. 1 to go in stage 2. That'll take us to halfway. Byron and Chastain back up into the top 10 there on fresh tires. It'll be Buescher and Harvick, Keselowski.
Spin on the front stretch. We got a caution. BJ McLeod's wrecked.
Stopped in the front straightaway and will finish the stage under caution. Chris Buescher will get his first stage win since 2021. Chris Buescher for RFK Racing, who never led here on the oval before today, is your stage winner. For BJ McLeod's spin. Today, Kevin Harvick racing to remember Marine Corporal Claudio Patino IV. Kyle Larson racing for the memory of Spec 4 Martin DeHeimer from Rome, New York. Denny Hamlin today carrying the name of Army Captain Kevin Joseph Smith on the windshield of his car. A.J. Allmendinger racing for Private First Class Theodore M. West of Richmond, Kentucky. Chris Buescher, carrying the name of Army Staff Sergeant Ari Cullors from New London, Connecticut. Martin Truex, racing for CW2 Ruston Radford Smith of St. James, Missouri. Christopher Bell, racing to remember CW5 William F. Sonny Hinchman from Worthington, Indiana. Harrison Burton's car carries the name of Army Sergeant Sean Duncan from Columbia, South Carolina. Bubba Wallace, racing to remember Army Specialist Luther Rabun Jr. from Lexington, South Carolina. And the 51 today, carrying the name of Army Captain James Eddie Reed from Kingsport, Tennessee. That's Todd Gilliland in the 51 today. B.J. McLeod, racing to remember Army Specialist Isaac Lee Johnson from Columbus, Georgia. Jimmy Johnson, carrying the name of Army Sergeant Kendall Frederick from Randallstown, Maryland. And Daniel Suarez, racing to remember Air Force Captain Dennis Michael White from Lee's Summit, Missouri. And there is McLeod, who brought out this most recent caution flag as we complete stage number 2 on this, our most solemn of holidays, Memorial Day. Pit road will open. 25 lead lap cars, and we'll add Zane Smith in the 38. He will get the free pass, and that'll give us 26 on the lead lap when we restart to begin stage number 3.
This will get us re-racked back on these tires. Now you're going to really see, I mean, make no mistake about it. The Fords up front, they were definitely on tires, but can they stay there? This is an opportunity. Gained a lot of track position here. Take advantage of it. Josh?
Well, that 17 car really came alive during that last run. His biggest concern, he's bottoming out at the top of 3 and 4, and the car's a little bit on the free side. Regan?
Ryan Blaney staying out on the most recent 2 cautions. Not really sure what to do to the car right now because of that. Felt like the tire cycles really hurt them. Instead of changing anything, they're going to do a reset right now. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick in the 4 said, my balance is fine, but I just can't do anything with Buescher because we're running the same line. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski in the 6. They told him, how was your 200 lap warm-up, bud? We have 200 more laps to go. Just a little bit free on the 6.
Kevin Harvick wins the race off.
Fire down there in Keselowski's pit. Got it out quick.
So Harvick leads Buescher, Logano, Gibbs, and Blaney off pit road. Under caution at Charlotte.
Can't wait for the sun to go down. Roll into town. Shine the old truck up. Swing by the quick stop.
Credit One Bank ones to watch. Who's got your eye on?
That 4-ball, buddy. Kevin Harvick all the way. Second. Started second, ladies and gentlemen, all the way to the trunk. 30th place. Now he's back. Up in the top 3. Kevin Harvick all the way, Tony.
Steals my horse.
Well, you still own
literally.
But I like the one in the same Ford camp. I like the 6 of Brad Keselowski. He's been strong all day. He's been running up front. Came back after contact with the wall there. He's really strong right now.
One driver has been able to knife his way through the field all the way to the lead. Sad thing, he's going to have to do it again. But Christopher Bell just has tons of speed. I'm keeping an eye on him. Larry Mack?
Mike, what a start to 2023 for Chris Buescher in that 17 team. 2 top 5s, top 10s in 3 of the last 4 races. He comes into Charlotte 59 points above the cut line. As long as Scott Graves can make the right adjustments in that car, I'm keeping an eye on Chris Buescher.
My credit one guy to keep an eye on is Kevin Harvick. And Boyer, I'm going to follow your lead. I'm not going to change my horse, but Kevin Harvick, he should be happy Harvick, smiling all the way back to about 28th or 29th, 30 laps into this race. But Rodney Childers and Kevin have been making some good adjustments and running P3. So I think he's going to be one to watch the second half of this race.
All right, David, we'll see. Harvick will restart third behind two drivers who did not pit. Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Busch are up front as we go back to green.
Kyle Busch, we've already seen him around backwards. And Stenhouse, don't sleep on Stenhouse. That's been a top 10 car all day. Give these guys some track position here. Clean air might be dangerous. How cool would it be to see Kevin Harvick back in victory lane?
I think it'd be super cool.
He's told everybody he's hungry. This is his last opportunity to Coke 600. He's going to lay it all out there.
Knifes to the bottom on Stenhouse. Number Harvick has fresh tires. Stenhouse does not.
Here comes
new leader, number 4.
Bumper clear, take it all the way. Good job. Getting your rhythm here.
Now Joey Logano coming up for second.
Sun's out as bright. You see the sun shining on the side of that 4 car as bright as it's been all day long.
Well, yesterday, one of those yellow Penske cars won the Indy 500. Here comes Logano.
So close off of turn 4 for Kyle Busch. Ryan Blaney. Still door-to-door getting into 1. Look at that momentum on that outside. Here comes Buescher.
Whoa, Kyle Busch went up to block that road and now comes down, trying to hold off the 6.
Man, he got close again. Closed the door on Buescher. Buescher lifted that time. Survived to see another day. Smart move by Buescher. Knows he's got a good hot rod.
2 back, 1 lane higher. He'll get a run off at 2 all the way up if you want. Here he comes.
Riding along with Kevin here and Tim Futua.
Joey Logano's average running position in the first half of this race was 18th. They had a bad start because of the metric. He got taken out of the Kansas race just before the finish, so his bad finish had him pretty deep in the field. And then got blocked getting into his pit on the first stop of the day. Had to come all the way from the back, but here's Logano challenging.
Track position. It's always been a track position game in Charlotte Motor Speedway. Whoa, Buescher so close again on that outside. I don't think anything explains his track position better than your car, your pick, Christopher Bell right there. You watching him and Buescher, you see the 24 of Byron. These were our early leaders in this race. Truex right there on the inside. These guys are mired back here in traffic. Got this dirty air, a whole different animal for them.
Nice shot there from Ty Gibbs and that Monster Energy cam on board. Clint, 7 players are still alive in your game to win 25 grand today.
I knew it, and I'm telling you, our fans are smart, Tony, but when I looked at these the choices, these picks, they were very difficult this week. $25,000 on the line. It better be, huh? I need a ride home, by the way.
I'm rooting for these guys. All 7 of them.
If they win.
No. If they all hit it, they split the 25 grand.
Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
For him, though, it's just getting my money. That's all he cares about.
I just want somebody to get some of his money finally.
You gave it to me, so it's kind of a recycle.
You earned it.
4 Fords in the top 5, separated only by Kyle Busch's Chevrolet in 4th. A little further back, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, 11th. How do these two always find each other? Always.
Well,
it's
they're
just
good.
drivers that do that. It's odd, but yeah, it just happens that way.
And it's usually at the front.
And there it is for 10th place with Ty Gibbs. Things settle out here just a bit as well. Larson moved through, and here comes Gibbs right back at him.
Clear. In line 1-1.
Chastain to the bottom. Larson has to hold the middle groove. Chastain chugging along. Past Larson again.
You don't want to get caught in that middle, do you, Tony? You miss the bottom, you're in trouble. If you miss the block on the outside, you're in trouble. They go by you on both sides.
Let's go back up front. Jamie.
Well, Clint, you've been mentioning this full sun. These teams weren't necessarily expecting full sun for this race on a Monday. And Kevin Harvick told me yesterday, if we do get sun, it will be a game changer. So between the sun, the adjustments, and the clean air up front, Kevin Harvick is setting sail trying to win in his final Coke 600.
It's on full display. There you have it. Wanted some sun out here. Game changer for him. Whatever Rodney Childers did under the hood of that car on that first stop, that was the game changer in my eyes. I mean, this thing couldn't have went backwards any faster and then marched right back up through the field.
Little contact here. Alex Bowman. Yep.
Justin Haley on the outside.
And yeah, Keselowski limped down the back straightaway, and here he comes to pit road. Keselowski was 5th when he came to pit road. Harvick 0.8 of a second up on Blaney, who has passed Logano for 2nd, with Kyle Busch holding 4th and William Byron 5th. Jamie.
After the last pit stop, Brad Keselowski's team told him, we